so we can get started. So hello everybody, I am Keith, aka Boogly Woogly. I'm the lead designer of Amoeba Battle, and we're going to be playing Outbreak today. I'm joined by Angel, aka Legna, who is going to be my partner for this Outbreak game. And we're going to be showing off some of the new stuff that we've been working on. Outbreak is still in beta, so a lot of the stuff can be considered in progress. There's some stuff missing here and there, but for the most part this is the type of stuff that you can expect to see in the near future, probably within the next week or two. Some of the stuff has already been on the PTB, which is on our public test branch, which some people have been testing out, but there is some new stuff in here as well. So we'll go ahead and get started and show you guys what's up. Alright, so we're going to start off with discovery, as we usually do. So of the 3 discoveries, I'm going to go with let's go ahead and start with the queen drop. So this is going to be the first big change. Is the aiming system is a system that helps you with non-amoeba stuff a lot of the times, and so what we saw was that the deployment modules and those types of things were very powerful, and the other modules weren't really that used. So what we did was we kind of redesigned how the aiming system works to kind of balance it all out and also make it a lot more interesting, and make it so that the aiming points that you get are much more valuable. So when I pick this queen drop, you'll see our new aiming system. The way this works is that you have your 4 systems: your core, your power, your core, your probes, your deployment, and your experimental. And you have a power system, and your power system provides power to each of your other systems. So the total number of these systems has to be the power cost of all these systems has to be less than the total power you provide. And each card has a power cost. So each of your modules that you install has a power cost, and so you have to balance how much power you're spending or you're expending with your modules versus how much power you have available. So if I slot the queen drop in here, it'll go in here and it'll cost 4 power, and you can see that I have 4 power, so it's fine. But if I slot, let's say, the poison probe as well, that now totals 5 power, and that's more than what I have. So if I try to leave, it says I can't do it. So you won't be able to start any missions or anything like that while the power is imbalanced. So you have to kind of pick and choose what you want. So the more powerful modules will cost more power. And you can also, if you want to see what these things do, you can also click this little flippy button, and it'll flip the cards, and you can kind of see what each of the things do at a glance. And we also added some filters and stuff like that, so that you can see specific systems if you want. So if you just want to see deployment stuff, you can just look at that. So how do these systems work? So for the most part, it's pretty much the same as the old system. There's 4 slots that you can get, and you upgrade them. But what we did was we also added more than just 4 upgrades. So you can see here there's these hexagons here. This represents the upgrades that this system has. So the core system right now has a potential of 13 upgrades. Right now we don't have any, so it's just at the base level. But if I click on this button, I can upgrade it, and I can do that for each of these systems. And just like the current aiming system, when I upgrade something, it will increase the cost of subsequent upgrades over time. So let's say I have 10 aiming points here in the top right, so I want to upgrade some stuff. Well, what does upgrading it do? Each of these systems has a passive ability that it'll help you. So each aiming point actually matters quite a bit in terms of like the DNA points you get. You can kind of spend them after every mission. Aiming points are going to be kind of similar. For those of you who have been playing Outbreak already, you'll notice that I don't have to actually spend any aiming points to swap things in and out. So you can swap things in and out as much as you want, as freely as you want, and you can kind of tailor it to the specific mission. The aiming points are only used to upgrade each system. So each system, how does it work? Well, the power system when you upgrade the power system, it'll provide more power. So the power system can go all the way up to 30 power. So you can start, when you start slotting in more powerful stuff, then you can use more things. The core system provides improvements to amoebas, rewards, and map information type stuff. And each time you upgrade it, it provides a passive bonus of +1 ACS per 10 seconds. Each of these 4 systems have a passive bonus, and then they also have 3 slot unlocks. So that's 13 upgrades total. So these ones over here are slot unlocks. So that's what the core one does. The probe one gives you cheaper probes up to -30, so your probes would cost only 30. The core one would give you up to +10 ACS per 10 seconds, which is basically double what your passive regeneration is. The deployment passive provides extra energy at the start of a mission. So if you guys like the jumpstart module from the previous Outbreak AIME system, you can basically have it as much as you want. You just have to spend AIME points towards it. And the experimental system provides health to your cysts. So if you like the shell shock upgrade, you can basically upgrade this, and then you can get that bonus health, so you don't have to worry about hoping you get that discovery for that. So we tried to get like the most popular and most powerful systems, or rather modules, that AIME provided, and kind of build them into the system instead of relying for discovery upgrades and that type of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the queen drop. I can't really upgrade anything else. Actually, I can. I'll upgrade my power here, and that'll give me 6. So now I can put something else in here. So I'll put the poison probe for now, and I still have 5 more AIME points, so I can upgrade something else. So I can get some passive regen, which is more of a long-term thing. I can get some cheaper probes. I can get deployment, starting energy, or some cyst health. I generally like to start with deployment energy. It's a nice early upgrade that's always useful. The main concern is if I want to get extra slots for these other places, it'll delay that because I'm spending my points somewhere else. So, but for now, since it's the first thing, we'll go ahead and do that. So that's been upgraded now. You see, there's one little hexagon here, and there's one little hexagon here to denote that. And I should be able to back out, and we can move on. So for traits, since it's the first mission, actually let's travel first. So we'll go ahead and go down here, like new, and we can see what's over here. And then for traits, generally, I'll probably want to pick just kind of a bunch of amoeba unlocks. Just so that I have a kind of a general sense of a general kind of swath of amoebas that I have options to choose from. So I picked the wasp because I do like wasps. They're good focus fire targets, especially for certain missions. They're very important. I also picked the queen. It's usually one of my default upgrades because, or my default unlocks, because the queen is so powerful. Just if you even have just one of them, and then the shark will upgrade because of the vision. And I have 6 more. I'll generally probably pick the viper and the rhino. If I had picked a discovery upgrade for my first one, I might have maybe tried to unlock it more quickly, but since I didn't get that, I'm just going to unlock a bunch of potential units. So we'll go ahead and move here. Angel, you there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Alright, so this is, there are a lot of new missions. If you haven't played the public test branch, you are probably familiar with the 4 main missions in Outbreak that we have currently. We have added about, let's say 11 more, so that's a total of 15 missions, so that's a lot more variety. And Hive Incursion is the latest one that we've added. It's something that haven't tested on the PTB even. It was pretty recently done. So it's all about destroying these corrupted cysts and alternating a day-night cycle. So we're gonna go ahead and start this one, and we'll see how it goes. So you can see time until night, it's about 1.5 minutes. So during the day, things are pretty easy and chill, but once you get towards nighttime, things will start to spawn. You can see that it says here the corrupted cysts will become tougher and spawn plague amoebas. So we have to destroy 100 corrupted cysts, and this entire area is just littered with cysts. So we just want to try to knock out as many as we can, as fast as we can during the day cycle, and then prepare for combat at night, because we can't really destroy cysts at night because they become so much tougher. It is possible to actually destroy them, you just need a lot more damage, and I'll show you why. So let's see here.
We are under attack.
Okay, so we got so Angel, we should probably not go too far apart in case we need to help each other during the night. So I'll head over there. I picked sharks instantly because knowing this mission, I know that speed is important and attacking things is important, and because the cysts are so easy to kill, it's very easy for carnivores to get well fed. So carnivore is kind of a nice default choice for this. But another thing I like to use is herbivores, because they get bonuses on grass. Oh, so you can see how these cysts have turned green. When they turn green, they heal really fast. And all the cysts will start to spawn these plague amoebas, and you basically have to hold out until daylight, which is in 2 minutes. There are also these wandering infected amoebas, which is the normal purple color, and you just have to deal with them all the time. But the plague amoebas are the ones that are potentially dangerous, because they're just gonna keep spawning. And just keep spawning. You can see how on this right side is starting to get kind of overloaded. I want to be careful on this mission to focus down the actual enemy amoebas, because anybody who's attacking a cyst isn't really doing any damage. You can see they're just kind of healing. So you want to make sure to knock out the actual enemies as best you can. Or if you're going to hold out at a certain area, try to clear the cysts in that area so that it doesn't cause any problems where people are just kind of attacking random stuff like here. So my queen is here. I should probably try to leave some... so you can see I'm actually kind of destroying this one because the queen is hitting it, and it's doing a lot more damage because of the queen's debuff. So right there, I was able to knock that out. But now I have to protect my queen. So I'm going to move my queen a little bit a ways here since they're getting shot at. So you can start to see all these plague amoebas are really starting to pile up. Locusts are good here because locusts can kind of replicate and you know, soak a lot of the damage. And the key here is just to last until daylight, which is in 15 seconds. So I'm actually going to replicate here. Oh, I can't. Amoeba cap. So I'm going to upgrade my amoeba cap with my upgrades. And upgrade here. I'm also going to replicate my queen for now. So you can see the countdown. It's going to daylight. And once we hit daylight, the plague amoebas can't handle the daylight. So they're all just going to start dropping like flies. So you can see all the plague amoebas are all dead now. And all these cysts have turned blue again. So now we go back to daylight time and we run around and try to blow up 100 cysts. So my sharks are done, so I'm going to run around and try to knock out as many cysts as I can. I also want to try to grab this mitochondria since I have 60 energy, and I guess this is going to be our home base on this algae tree. We can try to defend this place.
We are under attack. 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 We are under attack.
Oh, having some problems with Steam right now.
We are under attack. We are under attack. We are under attack. We are under attack. You've got this. Good move. Upgrade ready. We are under attack.
Alright. I think Steam is back. Let me double check here. Okay, I think Steam is back now. Okay, I think Steam is back. Alright. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I think everything's good now. Let me just double check, make sure everything's good. Alright, I think I'm still live, yeah. Oops. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. So, sorry about that. We just did that one mission, and we finished it, so we were able to get a bunch of aiming points. So we're going to use those aiming points right now. So I'm going to go ahead and try to upgrade my probes a little bit to make them a little bit cheaper, and start working my way towards an extra slot. Now I'm going to be just short. It's going to be 10 in order to get it, and I'm just short. I don't have enough. So I'm going to wait on that and I'm actually just gonna do deployment upgrade so that I get some extra energy at the start. So we're gonna back out of here, and I have some more traits, but don't really want to spend them just yet. So resource node, let's go ahead and head for the resource node, Angel. Alright, an eradication mission. Most of you guys are probably familiar with this if you played Outbreak before. That's a lot of aiming points, so that'll give us a lot more flexibility in how we use that. So stingrays. So as mentioned before, the queen drop gives me a starting queen, so that's going to be important. Stingrays, let's see. How do I want to deal with this? I think actually I'm gonna go Rhino, at least partially, so that they can kind of offset the damage of the stingrays poison a little bit. Because I don't really have. Could go Vipers, but it might take a while to feed them. So at least the Rhino I can get food really fast. Alright. So let's just eat that. Okay, so my queen should be ready to replicate now. I'm gonna run over here to Legna, yeah, Angel, and replicate my queen so I can protect her. These guys are gonna scout for more trees to eat. Alright, let's hope Steam sticks with me for now. Alright, so we have to take out stingrays. Alright, infected stingrays. Another change that we made, which is more of a minor change, is that most of the maps now have more spawning pools around, and the spawning pools are also kind of bigger. They're not as windy and thin as they used to be, to kind of help people just get stuff into spawning pools and spawn them, so that it also helps out with controllers, because you're not as precise on a controller. So we just wanted to make that change to help that part of the game out. So you'll generally be able to find a spawning pool somewhere in the relative vicinity. It won't be. There are some maps before that were pretty sparse on spawning pools in certain areas, so that shouldn't be as much of an issue. Alright, so we still haven't found any stingrays, or at least I was getting shot by a few. So the second thing I'm going to do is, with the Rhino front line, I'm going to switch to wasps here, because the wasps are what I'm going to use to actually kill the stingrays. So I'm going to feed the grass to my wasps here. Looks like Angel's using mostly a shark build, which is fine. Stingrays are pretty fast, so the shark should be able to catch up to them and surround them. And he can also scout. So speaking of stingrays, I want to get on the grass to make sure that I get the bonuses from the grass. So queens want to get on the grass and make sure that I focus fire each stingray. You can see how quickly they're being destroyed because of the queen poison. Okay. Alright. So it looks like Angel's doing okay over here. I'm gonna send my rhinos over there just to help him out a little bit. And then once I eat this grass, I'm gonna head up over here since there's another house grass over here. So that rhino's about to die, so I'm actually gonna replicate him right away. And this rhino will probably die too. Okay, so that was pretty quick. 3 minutes 50 seconds. Region 1, so it's not too bad. Alright, everybody's still here? Yep, looks like it. Cool. Alright, I have 66 aiming points, so there's a lot of stuff we can do now. So I'm going to upgrade this probe system for 10 points. And now I have an extra slot here. We don't quite have the art yet. but you can see the slot is right here, and I can pick another probe to put in here. So I'm going to put the cryo probe. Again, you can kind of switch everything in and out at will. If I don't want these, I can just take them out, and there's no price to pay or anything like that. So I'm just going to put them back in. I don't have any discoveries, so there's not much to slot in, but I can still upgrade each of these systems if I want. So deployment gives me energy, so I do like deployment. I'm going to upgrade that. And you can see the cost is doubled now to 10, so it's actually you get more bang for your buck with your points if you spread out the points amongst the systems, as opposed to going really deep on one. But you can go deep on one if you really like a specific thing, or if you have a bunch of modules that are related to that system. So I'm also going to upgrade the experimentals, since cyst health is generally a pretty good thing. So I'm going to upgrade that 3 times. And I have 36 AMI points left. So I'm going to put that in one more deployment system, and I'm going to sit on the last 26 for now, in case I get a discovery or something that I want to unlock a slot for, or something along those lines. So I'm going to back out here, and speaking of discoveries, there's discovery right here. I still don't have any traits, so I'm just going to hold on to my 10 traits for now. At least I can figure out what this discovery node mission is. So we'll go ahead and go over here, Angel. Let's see. Locust Swarm. So this is another new mission, and the idea is that there's just tons of locusts, and you have to eradicate all of them. So you have to make sure that the locust swarm doesn't get too big, because in this mission they'll actually replicate. So you probably want more high DPS amoebas than like other locusts, for example, because then they'll just headbutt each other and make millions of each other. Rhinos are okay, but they might not have as much damage as the carnivores, so I'll probably start going with some Viper upgrades here. The inner ring, of course, is much easier to unlock. It only costs 1, so I'm going to unlock all 6 of the inner traits of the Viper. And I will probably go with Vipers for this mission. So you can see here, you can see the discovery options, the 3 options you have. If you complete this mission, you'll get to choose from them. One of them is an AMI module, which is self-repair probes. And then you can see these other 2, which are for locusts and then for sharks. So go ahead and dive into this mission. Alright, so Locust Swarm want an immediate Viper, and because of the upgrades I made to the AMI system, I start with about 70 extra energy, you could see here at the top, which is why I was able to make that Viper really quickly. So since we are going to be fighting a lot of locusts, we need to prepare for them. Although I do want to spend some energy on this gather probe real quick. The problem with carnivores is it's hard to prepare for them for this mission, because of the fact that there's no or the locusts won't start spawning until you know, a little bit later, so you can't really feed the Vipers. So instead I'm going to switch these 2 locusts to wasps for some stuff that I can actually feed, and start looking for some trees. And I'm probably going to rely on the wasps a little bit more early on. And then rely on the Vipers later. So the goal here is to eradicate the Locust Swarm and make sure that we don't allow the Locust Swarm to get more than 250. And you can see there's 100 locusts remaining. They may not all be on the battlefield just yet, but we have to basically take them out. And if they start replicating, this number is going to start to go up. So you need to be wary of that. In later regions, these numbers are all going to get much bigger, and the infected locust starting number is going to be much closer to this number that you have to make sure they don't reach. So you actually have to, in later regions, you have to start off much faster, and in theory that's fine, because you should have a bunch of upgrades and modules and stuff like that to help offset that. So going with wasps for now. Meteor storms in this mission are your friend. Meteor storms will destroy locusts en masse, so using them to do that is definitely a viable option if you can weave through the meteors. But since the meteor storm is here, I'm just going to collect some stuff. Oh, we lost our probe here. That's fine. We'll put it back down.
Upgrade ready.
So we got these research points. Looks like there's some fighting going on, so Angel there has got a lot of sharks. So he should be okay. So you can see these locusts are, they start replicating if they get well fed. They will actually replicate, they will replicate, they will decide to replicate faster on later regions. So early on, they actually take a while to decide to replicate. They'll get well fed and then they'll be like, okay, I guess I'll replicate now. But later missions, later regions don't be like, I'm gonna replicate immediately. So you have to be more wary of that in the later regions because they'll start to overrun you much more quickly. Alright. So there's 84 locusts remaining. The locusts will also go around the map and eat stuff. So if you're not hunting them, they will just increase their numbers naturally. So you do want to try to find them. Okay, so it looks like Angel has found a big number of them. I have 200 energy, so I'm just going to drop a poison probe since I have a lot of spare energy and I don't really need it at the moment. My poor Viper has no food. I'll send him up here. We have 64 locusts left. Alright, let's see. I haven't found any locusts. It's mostly been Angel doing all the work on this mission. Oh, I found a lot of meteor storms though. Alright, let's see. Probably don't want to go into this meteor storm because there's a lot of undergrowth in this area and I don't want to get slowed down and get caught. So I'm just gonna try to find more locusts in this little quadrant. Angel's probably got sharks, so he's just flying around the map. You can see how much he's explored already with his sharks. I'm a much more slow wasp player at the moment, but I am maxed out on energy, so even though I'm not there, I can still send some stuff to help him out, like this poison probe. So 44 locusts remaining. Oh, so I can drop another poison probe here. So Angel's mostly sharks, which is fine. Since I'm mostly ranged, we can still get into fights, and I can still contribute even though I'm in the back. If I had sharks myself or different types of units that were more melee, that would be a lot more difficult because we wouldn't be able to surround them or anything like that. There would just be not enough space. So my poor Viper still does not have enough food. But there's only 24 locusts remaining, so let's see if we can find them. I'm going to check this corner. Angel's going to check basically everything else because he's much faster than I am. If you see this number going up, that means they're probably eating something. But so far, it seems like they're just biding their time. So I might as well replicate. Increase my amoeba cap. I have 3 upgrades. I usually like to save the upgrades until I need them. So until I hit the amoeba cap, I won't really pick this one. Until I actually have gather probes, I won't pick this one. And power grid hack, you can get it right away. So you use that I use that as kind of like a little emergency supply. All right, so that should be it. This should be the last amoebas here. Alright. So my poison probe did most of my damage here, which is did more damage than basically everything else combined. That's fine. Alright, so I can pick one of these. I know Angel's going sharks already, so I probably don't want the Blood Hunter right now. Locusts are always good, and self-healing probes is always good. So I'm going to go with the self-healing probes.
Upgrade complete.
Now you can see this is a green module, and it's going to slot into the green system. So when I click on this, it will go in there, and it'll use 2 power. But I don't have enough power, so I'm going to use my 26 points to upgrade and get 2 more power, and that should be good. So now all of this should be powered. You can also see here, if you have a new module, it'll show this little exclamation point so that you know that, hey, this is a new thing. Alright, should I upgrade anything else? 21, 21 points. I might as well upgrade the experimental, give me some more cyst health, and just unlock a second slot so that I can use it if I need it. Alright, so we're going to head over to, actually, yeah, we're going to head over to the resource node here. Alright, extraction. So in this mission, it's all about holding out until the timer runs out, and then you have to basically get to the exit. So that's the idea behind this one. Just waiting for Angel to ready up here. Alright, so here we go. 4 minutes. It shouldn't be too bad. So for this mission, you probably want amoebas that are, you're gonna have to hold out or run away. So for me, I'll probably go with some wasps, since Angel is going mostly heavy. Angel is going mostly heavy melee with sharks. I will back him up with the wasps. And then I can hold out on a specific algae tree, and that'll be kind of my way of surviving. And he can always run to that algae tree if he needs my help. So I'm gonna try to grab as much food as I can. The early regions, of course, are relatively straightforward and pretty easy and pretty short. Mostly just to kind of get you familiar with the different objective types, that type of thing. And the later regions start to get a lot more dicey.
Algae depleted.
Alright. Oh, so there's some bad guys, so I'm going to get back onto this grass, and this is where we're going to fight. Alright, so that's fine. So it looks like we got a bunch of people over here, too, on this side. So this queen is really important, because it really amplifies the damage that my wasps can do. So, generally speaking, I'll try not to kill things as quickly when Angel is around, since he has sharks, so that he can feed his sharks. He doesn't have that many; he only has about 10. So I want to make sure they get food. I can always eat trees, so it's not a problem. So we're getting shot at over there. I can replace that probe. I don't really want to engage just yet because I am replicating, so I don't want to leave my cysts too vulnerable. But since I upgraded the experimental part of my Amy system, my cysts are actually stronger. They have more health, so even if they did get ambushed, it wouldn't be as bad as it was before in the other version of Outbreak, or the other version of the Amy system, I should say. Unless, of course, you had Shell Shock, in which case you're basically invulnerable. So we got 1 minute, 5 seconds left. So it should be pretty straightforward. Extraction missions are also the same missions you would play on an infected node. So if there's an infected node, the whole goal is to get extracted and get away from the infection. The infected node extraction is basically the same with one difference, which, well, if we get to it, I'll show you guys what it is. It makes you kind of have to play the game, play the mode a little bit differently.
We are under attack.
So we have 14 seconds left. The extraction location can appear anywhere, so you need to be ready to run basically wherever it shows up. You don't always have to run, but get over there. So it's relatively close, so that should be fine. And we need to get 17 amoebas to the extraction. So we need to make sure that we don't lose all of our amoebas, or lose too many amoebas. But of course you can always replicate to make up the number. That number's not going to change once it's set. So, you can just make a locust or something and fill the numbers if you need to. So I'm still feeding, I'm still eating, because I never know what's going to be around the corner, and I also want to make sure that, well, there you go, like a meteor storm. So I want to make sure that Angel's able to get all of his amoebas out. So I'm just going to set up shop around this this beacon, so that once this meteor storm ends, we can just start to get in and run in here. Actually, we could probably run in here now, Angel. You could probably just run in there while I cover the backside, since you guys are super fast sharks. Okay, and then I'll drop some probes to distract them, and I'll evac all of mine. There we go. Alright. Easy peasy. Alright, what do we get? We got some discoveries, so let's check out what we got. So, stingrays are great. Healing probe. Blood hunter. We got that last time, so we probably not going to get that this time. So between stingrays and heal probe. This is actually heal upgrade, not heal probe, because we already have the heal probe unlocked. So we're going to probably go with stingray.
Upgrade complete.
And since I already have a deployment slot, I'm going to slot that in. But I don't have the power for it. It's 11 power. So I'm going to need to upgrade my power if I want to get that. But I'm now at Amy points, so I only have 10 power, and so I'm going to have to unslot something if I want that stingray. So I'm going to go ahead and unslot the cryo probe, and that should give me exactly 10 power. So now it should be good. Well, we got a stingray upgrade here, so we're probably going to go with that.
Upgrade complete.
And start unlocking some stingray stuff, since we start with one. And there's another stingray upgrade. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and go with that.
Complete.
And just start unlocking these stingrays. So now I've really switched to, I didn't even have stingrays unlocked before, and now I'm getting a lot of them. That's fine. We have a lot of DNA points, so just gonna unlock stuff to make the stingrays much better. Might as well increase some of these too. So I'm mostly going for like movement speed, healing, and attack type stuff. But since the inner ring is so cheap, you can always just kind of go for that too. It's a nice kind of balanced trait, or rather, it's 6 traits, so it usually gives you a lot of different things, as opposed to trying to get very specific things. So we'll move on to, if we go north, it's going to be a little close to the infection. We don't want to get caught, so we'll go bottom right. Let's go here. So we're a little closer. Okay, intercept the plague. So this mission is all about stopping these plague amoebas, which are green, from crossing the map and getting to the exit. So you want fast amoebas, amoebas that can slow cryoprobes. Actually, that reminds me, I should probably switch out my Amy probe, my poison probe, for the cryoprobe, so that I can slow down the plague amoebas. So since you don't have to spend any Amy points to switch stuff in and out, you can do that a lot more freely with the new Amy system. So we'll just wait for Angel to confirm here, and then we can go.
Good luck.
So go straight into stingrays, because the mission is all about hunting down these plague spreaders. So we'll want to make sure that the stingrays, I have enough stingrays to chase and capture them, and destroy them. Use my my Locust to scout. So go ahead and send this stingray here to replicate. Use my Queen to scout also. Whoops, finishing.
Algae depleted.
So the stingrays are going to show up on the, not the stingrays, the plague amoebas are going to show up on the map as, you'll see them, they'll be highlighted. So we need to kind of keep moving, or keep closer to the middle, to make sure that we can kind of get to the stingray, or to the enemy. Oh, so there we go. So they usually cross the map, so they're probably going to go from right to left. So I'm going to start heading over there. The nice thing about stingrays is that they also do damage when they're not attacking, because it's a poison. So they can actually do their full damage without having to stop, and they can just switch targets. So like, I know here that anybody I shoot is basically dead.
Our probe is under attack.
And then try to shoot while I'm on grass to get the damage bonus. And that should be basically all of those guys. So those guys are down.
We are under attack. Algae depleted. So
sometimes I like to keep the stingrays well fed, but not necessarily replicate them, because that way they'll do 50% more damage, and they'll take up less space, so it's easier to maneuver them. I try to replicate them when I can, but in some cases I won't. So it looks like Angel's going to have to deal with this one, because the meteor storm is kind of blocking me from getting to him, or getting to them. So, but I can always try to intercept where they're going, which seems to be up here in the northwest. Maybe I'll be able to catch them. And since I changed my probes, I can also deploy probes to help them out. There we go. So now I'm going to replicate over here. Oh, it looks like my queen got left alone.
We are under attack.
I want to make sure I don't lose my cysts here. So I probably would have lost them if I didn't upgrade my experimental system, which gave me more cyst health. So it looks like these guys are going more north, or actually they're probably going to go straight west. So go ahead and do my part here, and these guys should be down. Alright, where's my queen? Alright, my queen's well fed. Let's go. Let's try to get to our friends over here. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to go straight for these plague spreaders. In later missions, there will be more varied units for the plague spreaders, and there will be more of them, so you have to deal with that. Sometimes they'll be really fast with sharks and that type of thing. Sometimes there'll be locusts, which can move through the undergrowth unhindered. So this looks like the last group here. There we go. Alright. Okay, so we got some discovery points here, 22 discovery points. So let's see what we got. This is enough for 3 discoveries. I have an alpha drop. I'm not really going alphas right now. Primordial soup is probably a good one for me.
Upgrade
So I'm going to
complete.
get that. Before I start spending any Amy points, I want to see what the other discoveries are. I'm probably going to go with Explosive Demise, just because we already know that... actually, nah, it's fine. Actually, no, we'll go with Aquadynamic Things, just in case I need it. It's always a great upgrade. So we have our first experimental here. The experimentals are biome specific. So Guardian Angel is on certain biomes. You have a chance to basically ignore dying, and each of these, there's a Guardian Angel for each biome. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one since I have an open slot, and it costs 3 power. So that's going to be how much power? About 13. So I'm going to upgrade this one more time, and I'm still short, so I'm probably going to uninstall the probes for now, and then we'll go ahead and move. We'll go ahead and move east onto the Primordial Sea since I have the experimental for it. So that'll give me an advantage there. Alright, escort duty. So this is kind of like the plague, except the opposite in the sense that instead of destroying the enemies, you have to help them escape. So it's more of a protection as opposed to interception. Alright, so we have to escort at least half of the amoebas. There's 48 wild amoebas. The wild amoebas that you have to escort depend on what the dominant group is. So each region kind of has a dominant group, or it could have none actually. And the amoebas that show up depend on what that dominant group is. So if the dominant group is like herbivores, then you'll be escorting herbivores, and so on. So the dominant group actually affects a lot of different things. It'll affect the types of amoebas you fight, types of amoebas you encounter, the types of upgrades that you can get from discovery locations, that type of thing. So when you're picking a region, that's something you may want to consider, what the dominant group is. You can also see on the map here there's 4 beacons on the edge of the map. So there's always going to be one beacon that's kind of off away from the others. That's where they will always start. So they're always going to start here. And they're going to head towards one of these other beacons. And we don't know which beacon they're going to go for. But you can kind of, just like the plague amoebas, you can kind of make a guess based on what direction they're kind of heading. So it looks like these guys are maybe going... Oh, they will fight. Unlike the plague amoebas, these guys will fight to protect themselves. So it looks like they might be going east, all the way across. And the groups of wild will just continuously spawn. So you can see here there's a timer that says 35 seconds remaining. So while Angel is escorting this group, I'm going to head over to the spawn point and get ready to escort the second group. And try to eat grass while I'm going. The nice thing about the wild in this mission is that even if your army's small, the wild will fight, so they will help you take out the enemies if there's any enemies in your way, as long as you can kind of protect them, because generally they're pretty fragile.
Look. We
So
are under attack.
there's a bunch of locusts here, but that shouldn't be a problem, especially with all these wasps here. So these guys look like they're going south or so.
We are under attack.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get on the grass so that I do extra damage. Where are you guys going? Somebody waiting? There we go. Alright, keep going. I guess he's going towards the middle here. There's one straggler back here, so you want to make sure that he doesn't get shot at or something, because these wild will all help each other. So if this guy in the very back gets shot, all these other guys in the front will just turn around and go back to help him.
We are under attack.
Alright, I think that might be enough.
You got this.
Alright, so I'm gonna head up.
Look. Upgrade ready.
and escort this group, since I passed that other group off to Angel. So not too much trouble. Again, region 1, pretty straightforward. Of course, this is on normal difficulty, so on higher difficulties it'll probably be a lot dicier. At this point, I seem to be getting hit from two sides, but they're mostly locusts, so it's...
We are under attack.
Although this side seems to have stronger herbivores now, so... But we only need about 2 more, so this should be enough to get these guys out. There you go. Alright. Do we have time for one more? Yeah, let's go ahead and go north and see what's up here. Alright. Discoveries. Obsidian Peak. 33% chance to get double food points whenever you gain food points. So that could be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. And now I have something I can swap in and out if I need to. I'm actually going to uninstall Guardian Angel for now, just to see what I need for the for this mission. This looks like a lava lands mission, so none of those experimentals will help me for that. I've been using wasps for quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and get sharpened stingers. Eventually, I'll be able to unlock it. Starting queen. So this is queen drop 2. I can actually get a second queen in addition to the first queen, but it will cost power. So for tier 3s, you can actually get 2 tier 3s. You can get 2 alphas drops to drop. You can get 2 Ursas, 2 queens. It's just going to cost you a huge chunk of power. But if that's what you want, you can do that. And lava lands. Let's go ahead and get this lava lands one since we're on a lava lands location. I can go ahead and put that in right now, lava lands, and use that. I have 6 Amy points left, and I can probably slot a probe in. What is this mission? Algae eating contest. Okay, so in this mission, it's not really about attacking stuff. It's more about just eating as much algae as possible. So angel sharks will not be as useful on this mission because there's no way they'll be able to win the game. So he'll probably want to unlock some herbivores or omnivores just so he can eat. But for me, I'll probably get... I don't really have a lot of space, so I'm gonna go with is this cryo? I don't really need cryo right now, so I'm gonna go with poison and heal, and that should be good. Okay, alright. Oh no, herbivores receive no bonuses. Okay, that's gonna hurt me a little bit because I've been leaning pretty heavily on herbivores, but that's okay. We don't have to fight necessarily. Stingrays are good on this because they have fast speed and they have a lot of algae, a food cap, so that they can they can eat a good amount of algae. They don't have to replicate as much. The other thing about this mission that we recently added, if you've been playing on the PTB, is that it should now take into account food you get from grass-fed efficiency. So if you have that, you will actually get more food points towards your goal than you normally would. So instead of getting 5 per bite, you'd get 8, which is what grass-fed does. Oops. So send out these guys to explore a bit. Actually going to send my queen over there to eat this tree, because it's all about eating. This is a food contest, so... you can see there's 3 counters here. There's actually 3 opposing factions here. Enemy herbivores, enemy omnivores, and the infected. And if any of them reach 2,000 before you do, they will beat you. The infected, though, generally prefer to fight things rather than eat food. So they will only rarely be able to beat you in terms of the actual food eating contest. But the more amoebas that die, the stronger that the enemy will get. So that includes not just when you kill the enemy amoebas, but also when these three factions are fighting each other. So just naturally as the mission progresses, the enemy factions are going to get stronger and stronger. And by stronger, that means they're going to get more units, and they're going to get more, and they're going to get better units, tier 3 units. Which means they can also get more food, potentially, because there'll be more of them running around. So the longer it goes, even though you may have a big head start, if the match goes on for long enough, they can catch up to you, because there'll just be so many enemies on the board. In case you're curious, microalgae does not contribute to this, so it has to be from algae trees. And since my stingrays are basically well fed, I'm going to replicate them so that they can continue eating. And we're already halfway to our goal, so it should be pretty straightforward. Oh, of course, these guys just ate all that, so I'm just gonna leave. And of course they ate all that, so I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna go down here. In some cases, you kind of want them to fight each other, like this, so you can just get this food. But, of course, the trade-off is that they'll start to get stronger if they start to fall in combat. So, looks like there's... is there an algae tree down here? I don't think there is. Doesn't look like there's space. No, it's a spawning pool. Alright. So, it seems like there's not a lot of algae trees in this area. There's only one in this bottom right corner of the map, so I'm gonna start heading off into the top left corner. And you can see that we're almost double what everybody else has in terms of score. But of course, this will get harder in later regions.
We are under attack.
So I want this food, so I'm going to try to take it from these guys.
Algae depleted.
So need about one tree and some change.
We are under attack.
So all these people are fighting. I don't need to fight these people.
We are under attack.
So I'm just gonna skip them. This looks like this tree is about to pop, so I'm going to wait for this. And that should be it. There we go. So pretty quick, 4 minutes, region 1. Alright, so now we can, well, actually, do I want to spend any of this just yet? Not yet. I'm going to unequip that for now. Alright. Oh, actually, I want primordial soup. Yeah. That's 12. Yep, that's exactly 12, so it should be good. Alright, let's go ahead and head for the exit. One of the other changes we made, since there's so many objectives now, is we tried to spread the objectives across the map. So it's not just going to be a bunch of one objective. So if you have 3, you know, if there's 15 objectives that are possible, and there's, you know, 20, 25 locations on the region, no, you will never see an objective more than twice in a given region, so that there's a lot more variety. Yeah. Okay, so let's leave this area. So this is our new world map. So you can see now you get an idea of not just what biomes are in that place or down that path, but you can also see what kind of amoebas you're going to be facing in terms of the dominant group. So this one has omnivores. This one has a mixed group. So none of them are dominant. And then this is carnivore, and this is omnivore again. So as I mentioned before, if you want to get a certain upgrade or something like that, you can try to target one of these things. So for example, if I wanted more carnivore upgrades, I can take this path, because there's a bunch of carnivores running around over here. So I know that the carnivores are the dominant group here. And any discoveries will be will have more carnivores. You also notice that, generally speaking, like the amoebas will get higher tier. Like over here, you can see there's mostly tier 3s, and over here this is tier 1s. That's mostly just for flavor and aesthetics. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, there's going to be alphas in this area or anything like that. This is a carnivore thing. This is a no one's dominant. But of course, since the missions get harder as you go over here, we just decided to make the higher tier units show up back here. So looking at what we have here, again, the dominant group we talked about before, the potential resources, and the biohazard level. The biohazard level is going to be different, probably, depending on each of these. So 50% in the two middle ones, and 30% in the outer ones. And biohazard level is generally what makes the missions harder. There's one of the big things that make the mission harder, and there's a lot more biohazards in the new version of the game. So I think there's maybe like 10 or 12 as opposed to maybe 5 before. So there's a lot more stuff that goes on. Additionally, you can see the biome breakdown, which matters a lot more if you're switching in experimental stuff. So the only one I don't have something for is mushroom forest. So this one's 25% mushroom forest. You know, this one's 20%. So if you want a specific experimental thing to use, or if you want to lean towards specific biome for whatever reason, that's how you'll want to use this information. For now, I think it's fine if we pick a generally even spread of stuff. So I think we should go down to the bottom one, since there's no dominant group, 30% biohazard. Basically almost an even split, 30-30-40 resources. So we'll go here. Alright, so 18 Amy points. Looks like I'm starting to run into my power cap, so I should probably start updating my power, but getting 2 more power won't really help me just yet, so I'm just going to save that for now. And as for traits, looks like I've been leaning pretty heavily on the Stingray, so I think I'll get more health and movement. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Okay, we only have one place to go for now, so we will move east. Alright, for Queen and Country, this is one of the original missions on Region 2, so we can go ahead and jump into this one. We might start skipping some areas a little bit, just to kind of show off some more stuff and go deeper into the game.
Good luck.
Alright, so we have to feed the queens. Alright, oh here we go, here's some food. So this is one of the maps where it'll probably be a little bit more obvious that the spawning pools are a little bit thicker. They're not, they're usually tried to be made like about 3 across as opposed to just 2 across, which makes it much easier to deal with them. And especially in this map, which has this outer area, kind of has these spawning pools in a line. They're much thicker than they were before in most places. There's still some areas where it's pretty thin just because of the terrain and how it works out, but for the most part it should be easier to deal with. So it looks like Angel's going to go down that left side. I'm going to go down this right side so that we don't so that we can cover more area and get as much of these royal algae as possible. I haven't seen any enemies. Oh! And as I say that, Angel starts to get hit. So it looks like he got hit by wild, 2 different types of wild. So I have a lot of energy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just convert all of my locusts into 3 rhinos.
We are under attack.
So this shouldn't be a problem, especially with the queens. Okay, and we'll just keep moving on. I think I need about half, 3 more. Oh, let's get on the grass. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Looks like Angel might be getting hit here.
Upgrade ready.
So we want to make sure we don't lose our queens. But so far I need 4 more? No, 3 more. I think I need 3 more. 3 more algae grass. There we go. Or not algae grass, no, royal algae.
We are under attack.
Sure, get on there. There's one. And there's 2. I think this is my last one. So we just need to get Angel fed. So we'll start heading to the middle here. Since you can see in the bottom left corner on this minimap, we've basically gone all around this whole outer ring. So we'll start heading towards the middle.
We are under attack.
Look for 1 more. Oh, there's one. There we go. Easy win. Okay, we can go for a resource or a discovery node. Resource is off in the corner here, but for now, let's look what we got for our discovery. So vipers, adding 1 wasp. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this 1 wasp. The different deployment modules actually cost different amounts of power. So if you want 1 wasp, oh, looks like there's a little bug here where these things are on top of each other. But if you want 1 wasp, if you want to slot that in, it will cost less power. So, but Stingray seems to be working out for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Let's see what other discoveries we got here. So here's finally my Mushroom Force one, and a DNA analyzer. So let's go ahead and go with the DNA analyzer.
Upgrade complete.
But I would need a bunch of power to unlock this new slot. I don't quite have that just yet, so. Alright, so resource or discovery. Well, whichever one we go to, I think I have an experimental that I can use. Oops. Oh, but I'll have to deal with the power. Well, let's go with the discovery. So we'll go over here for the C mission. Alright. So for C, we'll put that there. So this system is using a lot of my power right now. Do I really need this queen? It's 4. Yeah, I mean, the queen's always nice. How much power am I using? 15. No, not 15. Yeah, it is 15. Okay, so it'll tell me if I try to back out. I don't quite have enough, so I'm gonna have to dump something. Let's dump the probes for now, and upgrade the power. So I guess I can fit in 1 probe. So what mission is extraction? So let's do cryo probe so I can get away. And this is a C mission, right? So yeah, it's blue. So we'll use this to try to ignore damage. And then we'll... Do we have any biohazards here? No, we don't. Okay. So the ignoring damage is actually pretty good, considering there's crushing depths here. It'll actually heal, and it'll bypass that, I think, because it's not natural regen. So there's a bunch of Amy modules here. Alright, we're just waiting for Angel to ready up. And we can go. 6 minutes. So everything gets a little bit harder as you go along.
Good luck.
One of the other changes that we've either made or is in the process is a little bit of a resource distribution change. So as you go through the regions, the later regions will provide more resources, so that even though they get harder, you'll have a lot more benefits for beating them. So that's another way to also kind of offset the importance right now of the early regions, where like really it's the early regions that can make or break your Outbreak campaign. But now the early regions are not as vital, and I mean they're still important, but you should get the tools you need to beat the big biohazards later on by doing the more difficult missions. So since this is a survival mission, probably need a place to hunker down.
We are under attack.
Right about now. And this tree looks great. So
We
we're gonna
are
hunker
under
down.
attack.
Alright.
Algae depleted.
I'm actually just gonna turn these into rhinos. There we go. Alright, Angel and I are on opposite sides of the battlefield at the moment. That's okay. It's still early in the match, so there's probably not going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on. Oh, except for a meteor storm right on top of me, so I'm just going to get out of here. And guide this one amoeba safely. Alright. I value the food a bit more than the upgrades, so I'm going to keep trying to get food here. Do have an upgrade available, but I don't really need it just yet.
We are under attack.
So, once again, that experimental Amy system with the extra health just saved one of my stingrays from dying, possibly two.
Algae depleted.
Alright, let's see here. So eventually I should probably meet up with Angel down here. Just because we're going around the edge here. 0 infected on the battlefield, so we basically knocked out everybody. Of course there's 12 who just showed up, so just have to be wary of that. And they're right there. So we can keep the battlefield relatively clear. We can kind of explore as we please. There's only 6 now. Drop that there. I have a cryo probe, so I can use that in case I need to get away. And I do have the Guardian Angel experimental in case I need it, or in case my amoebas start to die. It can be used. Alright. Gonna replicate here.
We are under attack.
Oh, looks like there's a bunch of people following Angel. Alright.
Upgrade ready.
So the infected, you can see, are starting to ramp up a lot more. There's 28 on the battlefield, and we just took out maybe like 15 or so, so that's another Whoops. Let's get out of here. So they're starting to really ramp up how many there are, what their presence is.
We are under attack.
But so far it's just sharks, nothing too difficult.
We are under attack.
Tier 1s. Looks like this one has a lot more units here, but still should be fine. And only a minute and a half
We
left.
are under attack.
Oops, ran into another group here. This might be basically all the infected that's left. One more group. 6. Alright, so we're just waiting for the extraction point to
We
show
are
up.
under attack.
Probably be in about a minute.
Object depleted.
But we're pretty safe and secure here. Again, this is on normal, so not too bad. Region 2, pretty straightforward. And we seem to have a good number of upgrades and stuff, so.
We are under attack.
Queen. Oh, starting to see some Vipers now.
Upgrade ready.
Probably start to see some other tier 2s. There's some Vipers up here.
We are under attack.
About 20 seconds left. So start moving towards the middle a little bit, just in case the extraction point is somewhere on the edge.
We are under attack. We are under attack. We are under attack. Object depleted. You've got this.
Alright, just right here in the bottom right. So I'm going to head over here since I'm much slower than Angel. I'm going to drop some distractions. The Queen is the one I really want to get out. Okay, everybody else go through. Alright. Looks like we got everybody out. So a special message here if you get everybody out. Okay, what is our discovery? Jumpstart. Do I want damage? Vampirism's always nice. Vampirism is also great for herbivores, since normally they don't have as much healing. This will give them some healing, so I'm actually going to pick this one, since I seem to be going pretty heavy herbivore at the moment. Back out. Let's go ahead and what was my C mission? So the only C missions are over here. It's not really going to help me. If I go back for this resource node, the infection might catch up to me. So it's probably not a good idea. Let's go ahead and... can this get over here? No, it can't. So I have to go down here. So let's go down here. Alright, 2 discoveries. What is this mission? Hold the line. Okay, this is one of the original missions. And this is a lava map. So I can go ahead and install that one. And I think I'm still good. 16? No, I'm a little short. No, I'm good. I'm good. 14, yeah. Should be good. Okay. For traits, hold the line. I'm just going to start upgrading my stingrays all the way. Alright. So we'll go ahead and take this hold the line mission and then head off to one of the discoveries. So if you're playing with a teammate, the experimentals that are biome specific, you might have a bit more discussion there about which one to go to because of the you might have different experimentals. So some of you will be better at certain locations and biomes than others, or you could try to sync up and always kind of pick the same. Always pick the same type of experimentals, and then just try to like use those to power through the different missions. It's not as big a consideration on lower difficulties, but on veteran and brutal, that can be a big deal. Especially because everything's just much harder. Or rather hits much harder, so. So one of the things I like about fully upgraded stingrays is that if you have them fully upgraded, they start off with a little bit of food points, and I believe the amount of food points they start off with is just enough to make them well fed with 1 microalgae. I think it might require the grass-fed upgrade. I'm not entirely sure, but that's usually what I've found. So you can see I can feed the stingrays pretty quickly. Though now I need a spawning pool, and there's one right here. So I think there were some enemies coming around from this side. So I'll probably want to try to intercept them. Yeah, so you can see I just ate that 1 microalgae, and immediately I have one of my stingrays well fed. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and intercept these guys before they can get out. So I'm just going to take some shots and then start going from tree to tree. One of the nice things about herbivores on this map, whoops. One of the nice things about herbivores on this map is that you can see all the trees.
We are under attack.
So it's much easier to know where to go, what to feed on, and get as much food as possible. And since stingrays move so quickly, you can really have a lot of map control just by running everywhere. So you can see there's some guys over here, so I'm going to go over here and intercept them.
We are under attack.
Alright, looks like there's a big battle going on up here. But I think Angel will be able
We are under attack. Upgrade ready.
So I am still capped out, or I was capped out on energy. So energy is not a problem for me. So I could probably start to grab some of these gather probe areas. Whoops, looks like there's some guys down here. I do want to replicate this queen, so I'm just going to put them in the safest possible area back here, so that any melee people who try to kill that cyst will end up just disappearing as they escape. So I just have to worry about ranged units.
We are under attack.
There's a few more stragglers here. 50%. Looks like there's a big army up here. A decently sized army. So there's my second queen. Again, I'm at 200 energy, so I have a lot of energy. Might be good to start unlocking or slotting some more probes in, considering I generally feel like I'm energy capped a lot of the time. Alright, I'm going to intercept these guys down here.
We are under attack.
I'm going to draw them off the grass and then run through them to get on the grass so that I get the grass bonuses.
We are under attack.
So this is going to be kind of a grass fight. I'm going to focus fire the non-locusts because locusts, you know, aren't really going to do much against this army. So.
Algae depleted.
Do I use the arrow keys to move? I do sometimes. I kind of use a mix of everything, depending on what I want to do. It's probably a holdover from back when I played RTS games in the 90s, where you kind of had to use the arrow keys for those early RTS games. So I do use those arrow keys. Oh yes, that's a good point. Drought is on, so the grass is it's not actually doing anything for me. It just makes me feel safer as an herbivore player in this outbreak. Always try to get the grass. So again, one of the reasons why I don't replicate necessarily is to keep my amoebas a compact force, a smaller group. They still have the firepower benefits of having multiple getting the food because of the well-fed bonus. And that way my stingrays aren't running around tripping over each other trying to get in range. I'll still replicate them, but I don't feel like it's as necessary to replicate them, especially if the game seems well in hand. Alright, so that's that. I could really use some discovery points. One of these two discovery locations. So this was probably giving me some extra food, which is another reason why I was able to get so many stingrays. Lava or grass? I have more food things on lava. I guess let's go with the lava. Oh wait, that's not lava. That's primordial, or that's obsidian. Oh, I still have that one too. Okay, let's go up to obsidian. Alright, algae eating contest. Queen's Guard, go green. Here's a biohazard, easily offended. When an enemy amoeba takes damage, it deals 200% increased damage until it's defeated. So you don't want to hit a bunch of stuff. Like you don't want to spread your damage necessarily, because you will offend everyone. So you only want to offend one person at a time, if possible. We can go ahead and do this one. Alright. Luckily, we don't really need to attack anybody on this type of mission with the algae eating contest, so. So I'm going to split my army into 3 groups. One with the Locusts, one with the Stingrays, and one with the one Queen. Just so they can get as much food as possible in as short a time as possible.
We are under attack.
Oops.
We are under attack.
I'll drop a distraction here. And just eat. So you can see these guys are offended now.
Depleted.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here. Where's my queen? I think my queen's getting hit. Right?
Upgrade ready.
Fine. Okay, so you can see we're getting a lot of food. Since we've split up a lot. Alright, not too bad. Okay, let's probably head out of here. I don't think there's... Oh, there's still some food here. Let's go up here.
Algae depleted.
Alright, let's eat some of that. Alright, let's head over here. Let's grab some energy if we can. And replicate if we can. Alright.
We are under attack.
So Stingray's not great with this biohazard, considering they want to switch targets a lot. But, well, just gonna have to adapt to the situation.
Algae depleted.
Keep going.
We are under attack.
That's fine. Let's get rid of these guys. Alright. I think we're gonna have to go inside this area.
We are under attack.
It's kind of a lot of stuff. Fine. At least with the Stingrays, I can just shoot them and then run away, and so that
We are under attack.
means the easily offended isn't as big of an issue, assuming they're not sharks who can chase me down. Probably gonna have to replicate these guys.
We are under attack.
Another thing we're probably going to be doing more of, which is not in the live stream, but hopefully will be coming down the pipe, is creating more maps. Maps are actually easier to create than objectives are, so getting a lot of maps isn't going to be
We are under attack.
too much trouble. The hardest part is trying to make the maps different from each other, so they don't all feel the same. But you can expect to have more maps. That's definitely something that is on the list. Alright, we're gonna head up here to the top right and see if we can find some more algae. We're a little over halfway our goal, 4 minutes into the game, so it's still very
We are
early.
under attack. Upgrade ready.
I just want to clear these guys out
We
of the
are
way.
under attack. We are under
I
attack.
think these guys just ate this place. Oh well, they're not really well fed, so maybe not. Alright. Here's some food.
Our probe is under attack.
Alright, replicate.
Amoeba cap reached.
Oh, amoeba cap reached, so I'm going to increase my amoeba cap since I've been holding on to the upgrade for a while. I'll probably pop that second one too, so I have one upgrade left, which I will save for a power hack if I need it. Since I don't really need gather probes that much at the moment. Oops.
We are under attack.
So I'm just gonna try to eat this tree right out from under them and get away, and then eat this tree, and hopefully that's enough to distract them. Although I might have to fight them now, but at least I'm on grass and I have an algae buff. So. All right. Let's go towards the middle here. Maybe there's some more. We're about 500 away for this objective. Nope, nothing here. Let's go northeast. Seems to be a good number of trees here. Oh,
We are under
let's
attack.
take this guy out before he can steal our food.
Algae depleted.
All right, let's blast this rock so we can get through. Go up here. Looks like there's a fight going on, so let's just bypass that
We are under
and
attack.
get to the food. We should almost be done if we can get a little bit more. Might be Angel gets this. Yep, there it is. Alright. Stingrays. I am going heavy stingray, so I want the stingray upgrades. So that's fine. Let's see, there's another discovery here. We have about 20 minutes left in the stream. So let's do... if anybody has any questions or anything, you can put that in the chat, and I'll try to answer them if I can. Yeah, let's check out this other discovery. Might be something interesting. This is a mushroom forest level. Oh, the culling. Okay, so the culling is a new objective where you have to compete with the infected to wipe out the wild amoebas, because the infected are excuse me, because the infected are corrupting the wild amoebas. So on this map, it's kind of a race. You have to take out the wild amoebas before they get infected. But if they do get infected, the corrupted amoebas will come right for you. So there's kind of a double whammy there, where not only will they get one point to their counter in the race, but you have to deal with the corruption. All right, yeah, let's give it a shot. Oh, there's biohazard. Okay, toughness, and clear visibility. Okay. I think we can deal with that. So we'll see how it goes. You can also, even though the goal is to knock out the wild amoebas, you can also try to take out the infected themselves, to try to slow them down. Excuse me. To try to slow them down, because it'll take them a little bit to respawn, and that amount changes. I think the longer the game goes, they'll start to respawn much more quickly. Also, I think in later regions, there's more groups of them. So early on, I think there's only one group, but then later on there might be like 2, 3, 4 groups. The corruption is spread by by the infected amoebas. If they kill any wild, it'll turn into a corrupted amoeba. And a corrupted amoeba is a different color, and it's a lot stronger. So you just have to be careful of that. The wild that you have to beat in this mission follows the dominant group a lot of the time. Not always. But if the dominant group is carnivores, which I'm not sure if it was in this case, but if it was, it would be much more likely that the wild in this mission would be carnivores. So you can also use that to kind of inform your decisions. As I mentioned, you have to you can use that information to see if you want to deal with. Oh, so here's the infected. The infected are pretty strong from the get-go. And we can see if they kill some of these sharks, you'll probably see exactly what I'm talking about. So when they kill this wild, it creates a corrupted amoeba, and that corrupted amoeba is pretty deadly, and it will chase you. So if it's just 1 or 2, it's not that bad. But if you have to fight an army of them, that'll be a problem. So you can see just how much damage this one shark is absorbing, even with the queen debuff. taking some time though to drop it. Hopefully, Angel's doing better. Oh, maybe not. The corrupted amoeba is always going to be whatever got killed. So you can see all these corrupted amoebas are sharks, and that's because the wild that we're hunting are also sharks. But when the wild level up, if they start to show up with alphas instead of sharks, and the infected kill that alpha, you now have a super alpha that is hunting you. In later regions, it can get much more difficult. Or that's how it gets more difficult. I might have to join forces here with Angel. I think they're getting boxed in a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of people disrupted. And you can see that their counter's only at about 35.
We are under attack.
So, the problem is that I have mostly locusts, and that is not helping. Against all of these corrupted. I think we might be dead on this one. Especially since they're all well fed. Oh, and they have toughness! That's why they're so hard to kill. The biohazard is affecting them as well. So that might be it for that. I don't know if Angel has any amoebas left. I don't think he does. So we might just call this one a loss. Yeah, I didn't think about the toughness. Otherwise, I probably would have not had so many locusts. I would have had a lot more damage units. My two stingrays could only do so much. Alright, well, now that that's happened, it can show, well, we're stuck on an infected node. We can't travel anywhere, because when you lose a mission, the infected spreads really fast, and in this case it caught us. So the only way we can get off of this location is to do an extraction. Depending on what region you're in, there will always be biohazards. So region 2, which we're in, I think every infected node has one biohazard, or at least one biohazard, and then in region 4, all infected nodes have 3 biohazards rather. So we need to extract, and given the time constraint, this is probably a good mission to end on after we do this, and we can show you what the main change here. So we'll give it a shot.
Good luck.
Alright. Since we have to survive, well, we definitely need to go a lot more damage oriented than just locusts. Region 2.
Algae depleted.
Alright. Alright, is there any trees? Alright, so get the stingrays well fed. Have some energy. I still have my cryo probe deployed.
Upgrade ready.
Probably want some rhinos, I think. So let's
Upgrade
grab some
complete.
rhinos.
Our hope is under attack.
Alright. We're gonna have to get out of here. Just want to keep an eye out for
We are
any
under
trouble.
attack.
I want to turn this into right. So there is a Chaos Amoeba on this map. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's chasing me or Angel, but I just want to try to keep moving. Oh, I guess it's over there. So it's chasing Angel. Oh, there it is.
Algae depleted.
At this point, you cannot kill this Chaos Amoeba. It will just shrug off all of your attacks and laugh in your face. Since the goal of the Outbreak is to kill the Chaos Amoeba altogether, you have to find the fossil in order to make it vulnerable to your
We are
attacks.
under attack.
Oh, funny you mentioned that, Allurely. There's actually, I think, a biohazard called Xenomorph coming up. We'll see if it can be implemented properly.
Algae depleted.
Might take some doing. So Angel's using pings
We
to
are
help me
under attack.
figure out where the Chaos Amoeba is, which is very helpful, so that I know that I'm relatively safe. So that I can just kind of keep eating and replicating. We only have 2.5 minutes left. My main concern is getting boxed in. I want to make sure I don't get boxed in this corner, for example, because I have stingrays, so I want to be able to move and maneuver and get out. Once the extraction point reveals itself, it shouldn't be too hard to get to it with stingrays, since the stingrays are much faster than other amoebas, but if I get stuck, I'll be in trouble.
Algae depleted.
What is that biohazard? Which one? Xenomorph?
We are under attack.
If you're talking about Xenomorph, you'll have to wait to see if we can actually do it. It'll be a surprise.
Upgrade ready.
But the current biohazard that's on, I believe, is Sugar Rush in this map. I don't know where the Chaos Amoeba went.
We are under attack.
Oh, never mind. So this is actually working out quite well, because the Chaos Amoeba seems fixated on Angel, and he has super fast sharks, so
We
he just
are under attack.
runs away, and it can't catch him. Hopefully it does not switch to me. I don't think it will. Or at least as long as I leave it alone. The Hive incursion objective, which was shown off, I think, towards the beginning, is one that was suggested regarding one of the mission where you have to destroy the cysts and whatnot. That one is the most recent objective that got implemented, and I believe Loud and Noisy was the one who suggested that.
We are under attack.
It's always been on the list, but it was just much more difficult to do than the other objectives, so. But we finally managed to get it done. Okay, so we have 20 seconds left. Yes, there's only one Chaos Amoeba.
We are under attack.
So you have to just keep an eye on it.
You've got this.
Alright, of course, that's basically where the Chaos Amoeba was.
We are under attack.
But
We are under attack.
oh, now there's a bunch of... That's a bunch of stuff that just showed up. So I'm gonna drop some cryoprobes because I have lots of extra energy.
We are under attack.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get in here. Angel can probably just follow since he's so fast. Oh, and of course, there's a bunch of bad guys here now. Alright, you can probably get in here. Evac. Alright, we have successfully evaded the Chaos Amoeba, which I believe was closing on us. Alright, is there anything else that we can show off? I don't know if there's any other new stuff. Shut off the the AMI screen, the AMI system is the big one. There's still work to do on this with art and polish and tuning. This is not all the modules you have access to, of course. There's also a lot more modules that are being created. So we'll keep continuously adding to that. And I don't know if there's anything else that I may have forgotten about. I think that might be it. Does anybody have any final questions? Oh yes, there should be a region indicator coming at some point. Somewhere here. So you know what region you're in. Probably have like maybe a few minutes for questions, 2 or 3 minutes. If anybody wants to see anything, I would probably be switching this stuff in and out a lot more if I wasn't on the stream. Let's walk around a little bit, Angel. Maybe there's some objectives that people might not have seen yet. So, Hive incursion. This is one we mentioned. One of the first ones we did, where you have to race the, or you have a day-night cycle, and you have to destroy the corrupted cysts. There are probes in the works. The question is, are there new probes? There are probes in the works. We currently have our main 4 probes, technically 3. You start with 3, and then you can unlock the stasis probe. We have designs for about 6 or 7 more probes, and the stasis probe is also going to be changed. So there's going to be a good number of probes to choose from, and they will also have their own upgrade versions. So just like how you might have a super heal for your heal probe upgrade, there are also other upgrades. We'll see if how many of those we can get in and when they get in, but so far it doesn't seem like any of them are going to be too difficult to implement, so we should be able to get them all in at some point. How long would you say making all of these new menu graphics took? Most of the menu graphics are the AMI screen and the world map, and I believe that's generally about maybe 2 weeks or so, I would say, from beginning to end. We're still not done, there's still stuff to do, but probably 2 weeks ago is when we started like concepting what it would look like, and then implementing it, probably 2 weeks to the point we're at. You plan to have a visual indicator of the day-night cycle, such as darkening the screen. We would like to, but not sure how to do that just yet, without just making things look. We don't have like 3D lighting or anything like that, so we can't just like turn the light down or anything like that. So we're not quite sure how to do that, or if it's possible with our engine. We would like to, but we don't know if we can. And it might be difficult if we just dim the screen or something. It'll make things harder to see, and that could be a problem. We can't just like swap out textures necessarily or anything like that. So, so that's the big problem with that one. What else is there? What does max cap Locust Swarm upgrade look like? The max cap Locust Swarm upgrade. If you're talking about the unit, the amoeba trait, I think it's a third. So the max cap would be, depending on what you're playing. If you're playing single player, it would probably be 300 locusts, I imagine. If you're playing trios and everyone has it, it might be closer to 400 locusts. The more players you have, the easier the game is in more ways than one. You actually get more amoebas total. You actually get, I think, more stuff just in general, because it's split 3 ways. So if you total it all up, it's actually more. And same with duos. I think duos will get more than solos. But if Locust Swarm is 1/3, and you get all the amoeba cap upgrades, in solo I think your amoeba cap would be like 100, and if it's 1/3, then each locust counts would be 3 to 1, so it would be 300 in that case. But the Locust Swarm mission in Region 4, I think you lose if they reach something like 1,000 locusts. So you might want to bring your big guns out for that, because there's going to be a lot of locusts in Region 4. The new Amy screen, sure. I can show the new Amy screen again. So there's still a few bugs with it, like these blank spaces here and that type of thing. But generally speaking, you have your 4 main systems here, and you can upgrade them. You have your power system that you can also upgrade, provides power to the different systems, these 4 systems, and you have all your different modules that you can slot in. We're still working on stuff, like you can see how the art here is similar to the old screen's art, because we haven't quite finished that yet, and that type of stuff. But we have had some, there's also some polish here. Like I think if you upgrade a thing, like there's like these like little animations and that type of thing that, and I think if you switch the filters, like you can see how if you have all of them connected, then they're all connected to the screen. But if you switch them out, then like only the one that you're looking at gets connected. That type of stuff. And then we have a flip animation. Any other questions? We're a little bit over time, but I'll answer a few more questions if anybody has any. The new world map screen, yeah, we can do that. If Angel, I assume you're still here, we can just hit beeline straight for the exit, and we can show the new world map screen, assuming we don't get caught. I don't think we will, because I don't think this place can reach. Oh yes, let me talk about restlessness a little bit. So restlessness is the biohazard that we added. It was also in the PTB. So there were a few concerns with restlessness that I just wanted to talk about a little bit, because people were talking about the cysts and how much damage they took and that type of thing. So there were two main changes that were that I knew were coming down the pipe that would make it as less of an issue. One of which is it now does damage every 3 seconds. And it's the same amount of damage. It's 5 damage per second. But because of the timing of it, it actually makes it so that you have a little bit more leeway with your cysts. It'll actually, it won't necessarily kill them because the damage is less constant. So you can actually, you'll take less damage in certain cases. Also, the second thing with regards to that is that the Amy module for experimental now lets you increase your cyst health up to 400%. So that can give you not quite shell shock level of invulnerability, but relative to outbreak difficulty, it's still pretty good if you can get all of it. So that's our other solution. So if you have, depending on how you build your outbreak, like what traits you have, what Amy stuff you have, you'll be better at some things and not at others. And if you want to tackle these biohazards that maybe are not quite that you might have trouble with, then that's your decision, or you can skip them, or you can try to like use experimental modules to try to compensate, or try to go the easiest path you can take and maximize that. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. A lot of different if you want optimal resources and stuff, then you'll want to do every mission. But you don't have to do every mission. So, especially since if you lose, the infected spreads much more quickly. So, it's a decision, especially on higher difficulties, where losing is a much more dicey event. Because if you get caught on an infected node in a higher difficulty, you're in a lot of trouble. So, but so those are changes we made for restlessness. So we'll show off the world map here. So we'll go here, we'll exit, and you can see the world map. It's nicer in if you're in region 1 because these things aren't grayed out, but you can kind of see the idea here. So let's see what else. Okay. Any other questions real quick? Going once? Going twice? If anybody has any questions, the Discord, I'm always on the Discord. I answer almost every question. Discord.gg/Amoeba Battle. You can join there. You can reach me there. The patch or this stuff will probably come out soon. Soon TM. We want to try to get it out as quickly as possible. It'll probably hit the PTB, the public test branch, pretty quickly. Maybe as soon as tomorrow. And then we can get people to kind of test it out. The objectives have been undergoing testing quite a bit on the public test branch because objectives are much harder to like evaluate and balance because you really need people to just play them. So that's there's a lot more of that going on. But for the Amy screen and that type of stuff and the world map and all those things should probably drop sometime within the next few days at the latest. And yeah, so that's the type of stuff we've been working on. And thanks for everybody who was watching. And I will see you guys next time.